Hello, readers, and welcome back to Chapter by Chapter. In our last chapter, our special sunflower dueled her dark prince, got conned into almost winning, and failed step one of her master plan. But that's okay, she looked like a badass. Onward! We open with, honestly, kind of a weird juxtaposition considering the last chapter. She had learned about the other rulers of Realm in her entire life. 4 of them were terrifyingly old and skilled, alive when the curses were spun. The original heirs of the fallen rulers who had sacrificed themselves for the prophecy. Isla was no match against them, no matter how long and hard she trained. They were the stars of her nightmares, each of them killing her in her dreams thousands of times before the centennial invitation even arrived. This is reasonable. But we haven't seen Isla be afraid. We have her inner monologue, so we know she isn't just acting confident. Hell, just last chapter, she went toe-to-toe with Bram like it was an average Tuesday. It's like Aster knows what Isla should feel, but she can only use it as an assigned trait, because showing would make Isla look less awesome. Isla goes on expositioning about how she met Celeste and how they're such good friends, like sisters. Which, fine. I think it would be better if they had more than one scene together, because so far all we've been shown is Celeste calling Isla stupid and sending her on a fetch quest. But Isla has realized her aggrandizing may have ruined their plan. Silence spread. It had always made Isla uncomfortable. She filled it with excuses. I mean, was I supposed to lose to Grimm? I couldn't. That's what he wanted. Though the grin at being defeated hinted otherwise. She had no idea what he wanted. No surprise there. Girl desperately needs sex ed, or at least a cheap romance novel. But yes, sweetheart, you were supposed to lose. Literally no one would be surprised or suspicious that a 19-year-old lost to a 500-year-old warlord. Please see the first paragraph of this chapter. So much for being scared and no amount of training, I guess. And speaking of Celeste being a bitch, Celeste gave her a look. You weren't supposed to make yourself a target. Isla didn't know why she rolled her eyes, but she did, suddenly annoyed. That was when the starling stood. Energy crackled in the room, and a sure sign she was angry. You need to think long term, she said sharply, hands in fists at her side. Islanders were watching. All the rulers were watching. You beat Grimshaw. You nearly beat the king. Do you mean to make enemies, Isla? Do you want to become someone the other rulers want to get rid of? Man, it almost sounds like an adult scolding a naughty child. Which is some of Aster's better foreshadowing so far. That said, I'm curious how this looking weak plan is supposed to work in their favor. The prophecy, which we still haven't seen, says a ruler has to die. Wouldn't looking weak make them the target? Like, from a cold calculations, greatest good for the greatest number standpoint, why wouldn't they be the targets? Who else is there, really? Oro, the man with all the gifts? Grim, with his cape dripping blood? Azul and Cleo, who have 5 centuries of experience at not being killed? Or these 2 wee tykes, not yet 2 decades old? If you want to be paired together, there seems like better options than looking weak, is all I'm saying. Also, Celeste rolled a nat 1 on her perception check if she thinks Isla won on her own merit. Then you need to listen. We have a plan. Complete the demonstrations without notice. Be the young, inexperienced rulers they all already see us as. So the winner of the demonstration will hopefully pair us up. That allows us to search for the bondbreaker, to work together, without having to hide our alliance. It allows me to spend time with you without making anyone suspicious. To protect you! A silver tear shot down her cheek. She took a shaky breath as Isla made her way to her friend, instantly ashamed. I can't protect you if you won't listen. I guess being raised in complete isolation prevents Isla from seeing seriously low-hanging fruit on manipulation tree. Also, they talk more about the plan. The Bondbreaker wasn't in the Starling Library, so now they need magic gloves. This type of enchanted accessory was well known throughout the Newlands. Gloves that were able to harness a whisper of a realm's power. Unfortunately, the gloves were dangerous to procure. It was said they were made from skinned human flesh. Only the dark markets in the Newlands would dare sell such things, and Isla had searched nearly all of them. They were rarer nowadays, not regularly made. Doing so wasn't typically worth the hassle. The power they held was minimal, inconsequential, unless someone found a very specific use for them. I have questions. First, human? Is she saying the people of this world are human? Or that they exist alongside humans? She goes on to say that Celeste has to make a pair. She should go to the prisons and find someone awful. As one does. Just order a prisoner be killed and their arms skinned. Or does she have to go to the prison herself? How is any of this going to be done quietly? Is it realm specific? Do you need wildling to get wildling powers? How many spare people does this society have lying about? You'd think that these would all be fed to wildlings, or whatever. I know the US loves to imprison people for profit, but we're really an outlier here. Do Lightlarkians get imprisoned for the most minor crimes? Are we in a death for jaywalking situation? What counts as minimal or inconsequential in these power scales? Like, wildlings are described to be able to completely change ecosystems with a thought. Would these gloves only give you, say, the power to grow fruit out of season on one tree? Because that's still a lot of power. If they do so little, why make them at all? Why did making them used to be common? Or at least less rare? Did Aster think beyond the rule of cool at all? I can see making the first pair, human skin ickiness aside, and they don't do much. Maybe give it a few more tries. If your morals are okay with casual murder and desecration of a corpse. But at some point, you changed tactics if it wasn't letting you wield another realm's magic. Who went on making these failed experiments? For how long and why? How many people died for useless gloves? Oh god, I'm spiraling. Got to move on. They chat about how Isla is going to search the other libraries, and how the Sunlings are being standoffish since the last centennial, because this place isn't separated by color and power as it is, I guess. Then this. Moonlake has also been acting oddly. My nobles say they have guards on their bridge every day, all day. Isla cursed. How was she supposed to sneak onto the Moon Isle and search the library with guards at the entrance? If you're going to give your characters a pocket teleporter, then either put restrictions on it or let them fucking use it. How many times have we forgotten about the Star Stick? 6, I think? And why are we surprised the island is guarded when the Queen is at residence? During an event where a ruler has to die, all the island should have extra guards. It would be weird if they didn't. The chapter ends with Isla vowing that this new and totally unforeseeable development will not stop them. Because it's not like she could teleport in or something. I have said it before, but Aster lacks the experience as a writer to pull off what she's trying to do here. Celeste is supposed to be Isla's friend, but this doesn't feel like an argument between two 20-year-olds. It feels like an adult scolding a child, which it kinda is. Isla rolling her eyes is the most realistic reaction in this whole chapter. Aster also needs to watch her show Don't Tell. The opening of this chapter tells us how afraid of the other rulers Isla is, and how no amount of training would ever prepare her to go against them. But what we see is Isla balking at the suggestion she should lose a fight to a 500-year-old warlord. Please join me next chapter, where maybe the plot will move again. Thank you for your time. Let me know how I can improve your shell.